fabulous day. So, this past weekend, Ethan and I went back to Minnesota, and oops, let me adjust my screen. And we really did a lot of construction, like a lot. There we go. And I'm so happy not to be doing construction, and I'm happy it's done. We're gonna go back next week and do more construction, but I'm happy for a break too this weekend or this week. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the opportunity for young families and why it's important to have opportunities for young families. And this is something that I was searching for when we were moving a lot, because Jada was very young, and then I kept having kids, so naturally I had some young kids at the time, and it's hard to find a place for a 2-year-old to go, and something that is safe for a child who doesn't know or hasn't figured out what to climb on and what not to climb on, or what is safe, what's not safe. And it can be very just like a sigh of relief to find something that's kid appropriate for young kids. And some of the reasons that it's important is because kids need the opportunity to get out of the house and to practice those skills of interacting with other children. But also parents need a place that's out of the house as a safe place that they can just relax and take a breath and not worry about their kids breaking something or getting injured. Also, it's an opportunity for parents to connect too and find friendship. And then adult interaction is super important. And if you have young kids and are trying to carry on a conversation with a 2-year-old, I feel like you understand that like sometimes you just need to talk to an adult. And so when there's places and opportunities for families to go different places, that adult need for interaction is met, right? So the reason why this stuff is important is because before the age of 5, there's a huge amount of development in the brain that happens for these children. So their brain is developing, and if some parents are checked out because they're overstressed or depressed and don't have the support that they need, then those kids aren't getting the support that they need because their brain is developing and they need that interaction of talking back and forth with a parent or learning how to do different skills like small motor and large motor, like riding a bike and stuff like that. And it's all working those connections in the brain. So also parenting young kids can be stressful. So parents need a break as well. And then like the connection, like I said, but that connection fosters like future play dates as well. Like if you're able to make connections with other people in the community, then you now have somebody to call for a future play date. Those connections and opportunities also enable families to develop friendships, which then they have someone to fall back on in an emergency or in a time of like they need someone to watch their kids. For instance, when Ethan and I lived in Ohio, our plan was to take Jada with us to the hospital while Hugo was being born, because we didn't have a network of people around us to just drop our kid off with. It's also friendships for those kids too, so the kids are learning to interact with other kids, and it reduces stress. Now there's a deeper level here. So those are kind of like the surface level, but the deeper level is there's ACEs, which is called Adverse Childhood Effects. And ACEs can have a significant impact on the future life of a child. So if these young families aren't being supported, some ACEs, and some happen like with a supportive family, but some ACEs they're more likely to happen if a young family is not supported. So the list of 10 ACEs are physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, mental illness, divorce, substance abuse, violence against a mother, and having a relative who is put in jail or prison. So and they've had numerous studies on ACEs. And so when a child has 1 or 2 ACEs, they have a few of the negative symptoms that come along with it, and in their life. But if a child has multiple ACEs, or like close to 10 or even 10, then the negative impact for their life, they have those multiple list of symptoms that often go with ACEs, such as alcohol and drug abuse, depression, a more sedentary lifestyle, employment difficulties, health issues like cancer and heart disease and stroke. They have a higher risk of contracting STDs and attempting suicide and intimate partner violence. So those ACEs develop a cycle. And the reason why it's important to support those families to reduce those ACEs is because, like, first of all, it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to support families, but you're also reducing the huge impact of, like, that society has to play against those things that happen. For instance, like kids in the school system who have emotional behavioral disorders and a bunch of issues, like the school system is pouring lots of money and lots of help to help those kids, which they need help to regulate some emotions. But it's a symptom, right? It's a symptom of these ACEs, adverse childhood effects that have happened. And so if we can just step back, like, we're going to give help to where people need help, but if we can step back and move our gauge from focusing on kids who are in middle school and high school with all these big, huge symptoms and depression and suicide and things like that, if we can move our focus back from over here to when they're in the early childhood, when their brain is developing, and making sure that they have all the supports that they need and supporting that young family so those ACEs don't happen, a lot of those issues won't happen as well. So it is very, very near and dear to my heart for reducing ACEs, which also relates to creating opportunities for young families and creating opportunities for people in new areas to connect so they're supported. When I lived, like, back in Minnesota, in the wintertime, we'd often drive to Brainerd, which is like about half an hour away, and go to the Burger King play place, just because it was some place outside of the house, and it was kid friendly, and it was something that we could do while not being in the house when it's very, very cold out. However, Burger King play place typically isn't that clean and sometimes smells like pee. Just put it out there. Sometimes it can be gross. But like, I knew that my kids needed some time out of the house, as well as I needed time out of the house where they can just run off some steam, especially in the winter. So, but now the Brainerd Lakes area has a much cleaner and more, like, diverse area to bring your kids, and it's the Brainerd's kids gym. It's called We Rock the Spectrum. So they actually have, like, dress up and puzzles and a zip line and a rock wall and swings, and it's designed how a parent would design it, which is super important, like, where you can be in there and it's like a fenced in area. All the activities are fenced in, so, like, you don't have to worry about a kid slipping out the door or other things like that. You can just kind of, like, let your guard down as the kids play, which is super nice. And I have a link for that in the description. If you haven't been there, go check it out. But also, if you get the chance to advocate for any of these young families, I would suggest to do it, right? So if there is a new playground going up or an indoor play place, advocate for them, because supporting the families has a huge, huge impact in our culture and in our cities and in our little tiny communities. It has a huge impact. So there's also other ways that you can support young families, which is like ECFE, Early Childhood Family Education, preschool programming, Head Start. And if you feel like this is you've listened to this video and you're like, that is me. I need to get out of the house and I need to make friends, and I feel like I'm kind of really deep in motherhood with young children. There's an awesome interview that me and my friend Stephanie just did about loneliness, and loneliness in deep of motherhood. So Stephanie shares about her journey with loneliness, what it looked like inside of motherhood, and then how she walked out of that journey as well. The link is also in the description. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I feel like I can't believe it's July already, but it's going fast. So we're going to have a good day here also. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.